Hey folks, Matthew Hill. Welcome to another Hill and Ponton Wednesday grab bag sorts slash questions. Hoping that get a chance to answer some questions for y'all and help you guys in your claim. So I'm going to jump right in. Looks like we got a couple questions already. Mr. Castellano, welcome back. I'm a Vietnam vet. The VA just added Parkinson's-like disease. What's the difference between that and Parkinson's? Frankly, it comes down to diagnosis that your doctor gives you. Sometimes doctors are not willing to give a full diagnosis of Parkinson's because you don't meet a spectrum of uh, of symptoms, and so they say, well, it's a Parkinson's-like disability. VA for years said that they would deny that connected to Agent Orange because it didn't have a specific diagnosis. That's the thing you have to have now. You have to have a specific diagnosis, something happened in service, and then a connection between the two. But now the VA is finally recognizing that whether it's just the symptoms or the full diagnosis, all of those things were caused by Vietnam. All right, CerebralOne filed higher level review for claustrophobia. 3 FFs, 1 in service event, car accident, diagnosis, 3 nexus, 2 working in vaults, 2 positive CMP exams in 2020, and IMO from my doctor. VA requested a CMP exam for motor vehicle accident on April 5th, 2021. Service connection. There's a lot of shorthand there, CerebralOne, that I didn't quite catch. But I mean, you still need to see what the doctor said. Basically, what the VA does in this situation is they say, okay, with mental health conditions, with TBI, we want our doctor to be the one to say this is related. And when I say our doctor, I mean the Veterans Benefit Administration, not the Veterans Health Administration. Okay, so a CMP examiner. So it could just be, hopefully that doctor is looking over all the overwhelming evidence you already have and giving you the benefit in that case. But I would not let down your guard yet. I'd see what they say, and then you might have to appeal after that and go from there. But that, ironically enough, that will be considered a higher level review decision, even though they're getting new evidence. Higher level review is not supposed to review new evidence, but they can say that there was a duty to assist error by the VA, meaning the VA didn't do its full job. So beyond, that should be a positive decision from all the evidence it sounds like you have, but just be aware. All right. Carlos, how much does it cost to increase service connection through legal pathway? Well, supposing you mean obtaining an attorney. Typically, all the attorneys that I've known and I've worked with charge a contingency fee, meaning they get a percentage of any back pay you get. So they don't charge you on the front end. And that can range from 20 to 30%, depending on the attorney. We charge 30%, and we do that because we take so few clients, and we're really, we're very good at what we do. And so you just kind of got to decide what you want there. There are good attorneys out there who charge 20%. I don't refer cases to those kind of folks, because I just look at the folks who've been doing this for a while, who give a lot of presentations, who've lobbied Congress. So it just depends. It's part of the back pay. I would recommend not hiring an attorney that charges you anything up front. There's no reason for that. Shaky channel, 100% P&T. Haven't seen a VA doc in 5 years. Conditions remained or worsened. I've not filed new claims, received a letter from the QTC to contact examine for related to my claims. What do you think's going on? Well, if you're permanent and total, that's a little strange. I definitely would not claim new claims. Just kind of in general, if you're already permanent and total. I don't know what's going on. I mean, did they spot what should be a new claim in your file? They flag it and say, let's give them an exam. That could be it. You probably need to go to this exam and just make sure they understand that nothing has changed in the course of your daily life. Meaning, maybe you can bend farther, or you can, walk farther without pain or some nonsense. But in your day-to-day life, nothing has changed. They need to understand that. and go from there. That is a little, I don't like those. I don't understand why they do that. I have some vets who don't go to those exams and the VA just closes the file. I have other vets who don't go to those exams and the VA tries to reduce them right away. So yeah, it's a crapshoot there, unfortunately. From Paratrooper Lane, I'm 90%. What forms do I need for TDIU? Am I filing? I am filing this on my own. So you need what's called the 218940. It's the form that shows that that's kind of a formal claim for unemployability. If you have a current claim that's open, meaning you just got that 90% or you got a piece of that 90%, you file that. It's not a claim. It's just a notification to the VA that you want to increase to 100% through TDIU. Okay, so you file that, and if you get that, make sure they do not date it the date you filed that claim, but the date of the underlying problem. Okay, VA does that all the time. They say, "Oh, this is a new claim for benefits." It's not. It's just a claim for you to get the proper rating. If you don't have an open claim and you file that, then it's the date of that claim, the date of the filing of the TDIU. Do you recommend to submit DBQ for migraine? This is Danny. I hate their DBQ so much, but yeah, migraine's kind of straightforward, so I would. The one thing that you want noted on there, if you have to lay down and basically get out of light, get out of noise, get into a dark room, due to this, you want to make sure that that's called prostrating migraines. You want that checked, and if it's affecting your ability to work, maybe you can hold a job, maybe you're still bringing income for your family, but you're not doing it to the level at which your abilities would let you do. You need to make sure they check that box, that they being the doctor, of economic interference, basically due to the severity of the migraines. So yeah, I guess I would. How do I get a copy of my CMP exam? That should be, sorry, this is Victor. That should be in your e-benefits. You can get a hold of that, or I'd go to a veteran service officer and get them to look at it for you, or to pull it out for you. Pablo, hi from Baton Rouge. Hello LSU. I'm a Gator fan, and you guys usually kick our tails. So Pablo, I don't love that. Anyway, I have a 90% and not working. Is there a difference for going for 100% P&T versus 100% unemployability? No. Well, let me tell you this. P&T is the difference, okay? Whether you have 100% or you are unemployable, you want to be P&T, okay? Because if you're P&T for both, you have the exact same secondary benefits, all the auxiliary benefits you get on taxes, you can go into the base to use the commissary. But if you're 100% not P&T or IU not P&T, again, it's the same thing, but you don't get those secondary benefits. So the key is, those give you the same monetary benefits, IU and 100%. You just want to make sure that the P&T is, if you really are not going to be able to get better, you want to make sure you get that. Okay, Victor, Victor answered that one. Mike Engel, just a personal question. Are you now in practice for yourself? Thanks for doing these. Mike, I'm not. I'm part of Hill and Ponton. We just decided a while back to start doing these because we realized that we turn away so many vets every month because we have to keep our practice small to make sure we're giving the care, if you will, that I think our vets deserve. And we realized that when we got bigger in terms of number of vets, we just weren't delivering the care we wanted to. So this is more just kind of just a chance for me, and hopefully for my other attorneys at some point, just to give some thoughts on claims that are out there, because this is confusing, and we appreciate that, and we wish we could help a lot more vets than we can. But thanks for the question, Mike. Louis C., thanks for coming back. Good to see you. Why does the VA acknowledge an issue but give you a 0% rating? That is frustrating. Sometimes there is a 0% rating noted on the diagnostic codes, and therefore you get it. A lot of times there's not, and they give it to you anyway. And so essentially what they're saying is, you've proven, this is actually of use to you. They're saying you have proven that your disability is related to service. However, there's no symptoms that would rise to whatever the minimum rating would be it 10, 30, 40%, whatever. So in one way it's good, because then you're focused on just proving the rating. On the other way, it's annoying, put it that way, because you you fought to get it service connected, and now they're not giving you any benefit. So you just need, I would appeal that. Again, look at the diagnostic codes, and we'll pop those up, I think, in a second here. And basically look at those and see what the minimum rating is and see what evidence you would need to submit that. Because it's frankly easier to get a higher rating than it is to get something service connected. Okay, filthy rich exclusive. Can I be service connected for PTSD with an other than honorable discharge? The VA, you need to apply, and the VA will do an administrative decision on what they consider that discharge to be. There's the DoD's definition of other than honorable, and then there's the VA's. Sometimes they're the same, sometimes they're not. So you just kind of need to see what those two are. If you're talking about PTSD, there's a little more leniency because PTSD causes symptoms that, sometimes guys go AWOL, sometimes they mouth off to their superiors, sometimes they get in fights that they shouldn't. So there's symptoms there that the VA will sometimes realize, hey, this is that got this disability in service, and that's why it was other than honorable. So apply first, and then from there you need to see, okay, do I need to fight did they give me the wrong distinction and not say, or excuse me, and say that I'm not eligible, or did they they find that I am eligible, and do I need to work on actually getting the proper rating? Martin Winston, please help me. Okay. Like I said, we can't help everybody. I know we've spoken a couple times here, Martin. And hopefully it's something we can, if you give us a call, we look at the case, but it's kind of like what I was saying earlier. We are so overwhelmed with the number of vets out there that I just try to do this to give a little help to those that I know are not getting a lot of help that they need. All right, smooth sailing. I'm planning on filing an increased rating for mental health. My meds have increased since I was rated for mental health. I'm currently 50%. Do I have a case for 70%? I don't want to, let's say something else down here. Waste my time. Okay, so I think a 10% rating on the mental health scale is what you get if you're taking medicine. Anything above that does not have to do with you being medicated. It has to do with how you interact with society, okay? And how much and how little. Okay, 50%, they're saying you got some problems. It's kind of rough around the edges. You probably don't love being out. You probably don't love being around people. 70% is the same thing, but it's basically the inability to connect with others and the inability to sustain relationships with others. If you're in a work environment, it's having no tolerance for people who are doing something stupid, or for a boss that really is idiotic or tells you to do something that you don't want to do. So, and then also once you get to 70%, 100%, we're talking about thoughts of suicide, and that being, something that's plaguing you on a daily or weekly basis. So that's something that you think about. If those are issues you have, it has nothing to do with your medication. It has everything to do with how you're dealing with other people and what kind of anger levels you have. Mart's been represented for you by over 5 years. Mart, I believe we'd given you a call there. I think that's Sheena Brewer. As far as being represented by over 5 years, unfortunately, we have no ability, and I think this for everybody should understand this. If an advocate says, "Hey, I can get you benefits right away," I'd be very concerned about that. I could get you a decision right away, but if it's a hard case, like a case we take, it's going to be a denial. A lot of times there's a lot of workup for cases. There's a lot of workup of trying to get the evidence you need, and then you're just in line. You're just in line for the BVA most likely to decide, and there's just nothing you can do about it. So, we don't promise timelines because frankly, no one should promise timelines. I don't think the VA knows what their timelines are for certain anymore. All right. Oh, did I get my sound back? Said no sound there. Can I get a sound check? Hopefully y'all can hear me. Let me see. I'm just gonna keep on talking as if you can. Go from there. Ben Thornley, 2017 for back pay. I've been told that they should have went back to the time I was diagnosed. Ben, the law states that they should go back to the first, to the claim you filed to get that, to win that back pay. Okay. There are several exceptions to where you get earlier effective date, but they're extremely complicated and they entail a thorough look at your C file, a file the VA keeps on you. But if it's just when you're diagnosed, unless this is an Agent Orange issue, that doesn't count. You have to have filed a claim, and then you go from there. And even if it's Agent Orange issue, there's problems there, but that's the one area where you can really go earlier. BRS. I was in Iraq from 04 and am diagnosed with IBS. I didn't have this before being in country. Is it possible to connect this because of being in Iraq? Yes. This is under 3.317, I think it's a regulation, and it's a Gulf War issues, Gulf War syndrome. And explicitly, one of the Gulf War syndrome diagnoses that are listed is irritable bowel syndrome. Another one is fibromyalgia. So you need to apply, and those are benefits you should get, and they should not hassle you with that because that's a presumptive disability. Alfred, when submitting an intent to file for secondary issues, would one expect the VA to use that date or use the date back to when the service-connected primary issues was awarded? The easy answer to this is the date of the intent to file, as long as you file the formal claim within a year. The more nuanced answer is, did they know of the secondary issues when they granted that primary issue? So let's take an example. Let's say you have diabetes and you filed that, you're fighting for it, and they looked at things like your labs, which would show if your glucose is high. And on your labs, it also shows that you have a kidney malnourishment, okay? Well, they grant the diabetes, but if they didn't look at and at least discuss and write as an issue the kidneys problem, that claim should go all the way back to when you were first granted benefits for diabetes, because they knew about it. It was on their test, it was on their labs. So if you have an issue like that, then yes, it could go back. There's some more gray areas like back issue and the depression. If you're getting back issue service connected, the evidence shows that you have depression, but it's kind of squirrely as to whether it's related to the back or not. That's a little harder, but it's also one maybe worth trying for. You need to get your C file. You need to see what was in the file at the time they issued the first decision. So not automatic, but doable if you try to go back. Shakey's channel, I tried calling the VA today to answer questions, but of course, no answer. I'm not going to comment on that. I did not try to file new claims nor want to. Hopefully they will answer my call soon. Thanks so much for your help. Good luck. Good luck with that call. We've spent many a day on hold with good old EA there. U.S. Navy Vet 39. My VA psychiatrist wrote VA notes. History of PTSD secondary to military sexual trauma. How strong is this nexus statement? Not strong at all, unfortunately. The nexus statement has to show that it's connected to service, but then it has to show why. And when it comes to something like PTSD, or MST has its own sub-regulation, he needs to say what markers did he see in service. I mean, the one that would be most obvious is if there was a report, but as VA has admitted to Congress, these issues are underreported and underrecorded, meaning nobody wants to report that they were assaulted or sexually abused. And those who do it, they go to their superior. Their superior never writes it down. They never record what happened. And so it's that is so troublesome that the VA now looks to other issues like markers, like did the vets get transferred really soon? Did the vet have any problems with authority after that? Did the vet get a new MOS? Did the vet develop some kind of alcohol problem? So those are the kind of things that you need to look for in your file. You got to give the doc your service record showing that, okay? And the doctor needs to say, I believe the PTSD is secondary to MST, and this marker shows that he probably had some kind of abuse because, X, Y, and Z. So let's say that's a good start, but that's not going to win your case. Okay, got lost here. Whoa, where did I go? BRS, one complaint, my service records enough to connect an issue like sinusitis. If you get a good doc, yes. Defender 1, question, just awarded 70% rating for PTSD, congratulations. 51 years old. What are the chances of being sent for another CMP reevaluation in the future? And should I continue to seek treatment? Yes, they will try to reevaluate you. If you don't go, claiming other issues, maybe that, the likelihood of them calling you back is less. But even if you stay, low to the ground, they could call you back in, and that's why your next question, frankly, you already know the answer, is right on. You need to continue to seek treatment. You need to continue to let the doctors know how you're feeling, how you are. And the important thing is, even if it doesn't change, even if you're like, hey, I'm the same doc, that needs just to be written down. Excuse me. One of the things I tell vets is that when you go in and you see your doctor and they ask how you doing, our automatic response a lot of times, oh, great, doc, thanks, how are you doing? What you need to respond to is how you really are, what's really going on with you. I mean, if you're having a crappy day, you're having a crappy week, and they ask you how you're doing, say, this has been really hard for me. I'm just trying to keep it together. And those are the things that get written down and you need to have so that if they try to come and reduce you, you can just say, hey, here's my VA records. Look and see how I've been doing. Okay. Tom, Marine, vet. Good to see you again, Tom. If you have a PTSD rating, you must seek treatment or you stand a chance. Exactly. So Tom's all over that. All right, Pablo, say I have 50% for PTSD, 50 for sleep sleep apnea, 50% for flat foot, and 10% for tinnitus, thus I'm at 90. I think my PTSD is getting worse. Should I file for increased rating up to 70% to get 100? I do two things. One, file for that increase for PTSD. And if you're not working, two, file for IU. Those are independent bases for you to get up to 100%. Lehman, do SMCs replace what one would regularly get or they add to it? I had my first CMP this Monday. I think I qualify for PTSD. Aid in attendance and housebound. Okay, so there's the most common SMC is called SMCK. It's loss of use of an organ. It's like if you, literally if you lost, if you had to have a kidney or appendicitis or you have erectile dysfunction, though that SMC is independent. It's about $100 a month. Okay, and that SMC is it can compound, meaning you can get no matter however many organs you've lost, you can get 100%. Excuse me, you can get $100 for that. This is all on top of what you're regularly getting. Okay, so let's say you're getting, I don't know, I think like 90% is 1,900 or something like that. So it'd be on top of that. Now, what you're asking is aid and attendance. Anything above that SMCK, the first one above it is actually SMCC, and that's housebound. That is an extra $300 a month. So it's $300 on top of what you're getting on a normal basis. SMCL is, you basically replace what you're getting with SMCL, and I can't hold me to it, but I think it's about $500 more than what you're normally getting. So it's not in addition to your regular rating. It's basically replaces that rating. It goes from here. Okay. Let's see. Thanks y'all for the sound check. Let's see. Sam had a seemingly positive CMP exam on Golf 4 presumptives. Week after, VA orders exams for the same conditions, looking for another opinion. Decision, not service connected on any conditions. What? I've been doing this for 15 years, and I am still constantly shocked at how often the VA messes up Golf 4 syndrome and Golf 4 issues. Going back up to the, IBS, that's an easy one. I've seen plenty of decisions where the VA will deny IBS for a vet they admit was in the Golf because they say, oh, the vet had a diagnosed disability, therefore he can't have Golf 4 syndrome. Well, the reg on its face reads that is connected to Golf 4. So What will happen a lot with the VA is you'll go in, that will have complaints of nausea and just fatigue and headaches and nothing that is ever diagnosed. That's Gulf War syndrome. And so the VA will get a CMP back saying, I don't have a diagnosis for this guy, so it must be related to service. And they won't like it. So they'll get a follow-up doctor to say, well, no, those headaches probably are cluster headaches, and that fatigue is probably due to a depression or something like that. And then the VA has a reason to deny it. So that I find that very frustrating, especially even if they get a diagnosis, they have to consider, well, is he depressed from being in the Gulf? Are those cluster headaches related to problems he had due to burning oil or whatever? So those are ones you need to fight, and it gets frustrating once a doctor gives you a diagnosis, especially when there's no basis for that diagnosis. Okay. And waiting C file. So yeah, Sam, I would definitely look at that, and you definitely need to see two things. There is a letter going to the CMP doctor from the VA adjudicator. You need to read that. Did they lead them on? Say, hey, this said it was an undiagnosed headache. Could it be this? And then you need to read and see what the doctor actually said, both doctors. VA cannot lead on their doctors, and if the VA had a perfectly good CMP exam, they should have used that, unless there's no reason to get another one. Okay, Mr. Murray, sorry, I'm having trouble seeing. I have carpal tunnel syndrome, which started as risk conditions after I left the Army in 2003 and have been documented with the VA in 2004. Is it possible for service connection? If there's risk conditions noted in the service, you have a good shot. If you don't have anything noted, you're going to need some kind of statement from a buddy or a friend or family member who watched in service, because that you got to have something showing that there's an anchor in service there. Ken Sheeler, is it possible to tie sleep apnea to tinnitus as secondary? Oh, tinnitus. I have not heard that one, Ken. That has absolutely no bearing on whether it's possible or not. But I personally have not heard that or tried that. But I gotta tell you, that would be interesting to see if you could do it. This is where I get my trouble trying to be a doctor, but I don't know if that's possible. But that doesn't mean you should stop trying. Liam, I have a combat action badge on my DD-214 from when I was involved in combat during service. Is that a good nexus? Okay, so let's explain the three parts again. First of all, there's something that happened in service. There is the nexus, and then there's the diagnosis. Okay, so going in reverse order, the diagnosis is you have a medical condition that a doctor has diagnosed. Okay, what happened in service is, there's what happened in service and there's what you can prove happened in service, meaning you were in a firefight. Can you prove it? Well, you have a combat action badge. So yes, okay. The nexus is what binds the two together. I think of it as a bridge, okay, to get you from what happened in service over to what's going on with you now. So the answer to your question is that serves as the what happened in service. The PTSD law, if that's what we're talking about here, there is some wiggle room to show that there should be a nexus, but you're still gonna have to go to a VA doctor. But if you show the combat action badge, they can't debate that something happened to you that was a stressor in service. And then if you have a current diagnosis, PTSD, all you're looking at is the nexus. You're saying, hey, one caused the other. Mr. McDonald, hi, I have a remanded appeal back to the BVA from the RO. Will my appeal be sent by a BLJ right away, or will it go back into the docket line? I'm not asking for a hearing. If you had a hearing, it goes back to the same VA judge. It sounds like you're still in the old system, what they call the legacy system. Should go to BVA judge, but I listened to the head of the BVA a while ago, and she said she's changing that up so they can go to any judge. But if it did go to one judge at a hearing, that judge gets it. SAVFAM, how long are higher level reviews taking right now? Higher level reviews are taking anywhere from 2 weeks to 3 months. As I said earlier, there is a way to get a fast decision. People will tell you, hey, I can get you a fast decision. The grant rate on higher level reviews, and this is from a higher level adjudicator I've dealt with for many, many years and whom I consider to be favorable. He told me he's denying 93% of all cases. So you can get a case through there, and if there's an egregious error, if there's just a blatant error of law, then hopefully you win. But we just see blanket denials, unfortunately, on most of those. All right, Mr. Murray, welcome back. Is it a good thing that if during an HLR that the ABA is correcting an error and scheduled another exam for the claim I got denied for? It's cervical claim. Is it a good thing? I'd say it's not a bad thing. You didn't get denied. You still need to see what the CMP exam says, but yeah, I mean, you're still in the game, if that makes sense. So that could be good. Mr. McDonald again, on my code sheet, it says none of the future exams spot. Does that mean that I shouldn't have any future exams? That is what it means. I would say that. That is what it's supposed to mean, but could you still have exams? Yeah, the VA, the VA writes the majority of its laws through regulations, and something like that is in the regulation, but then they just blatantly ignore it. So again, I would consider, just to make yourself, going to exam, not exams, continue to have medical treatment, even if things haven't changed, and just tell the doc, hey, this is where I am. This is where I am. And if this is where I am is the same place, well, that's what got you to get that rating. So the VA needs to see it if they ever try to re-adjudicate your claim. Okay. VM, are pictures worth anything to help a claim? Yes, I can't give you more information than if you, I don't know unless you give me more information, but yes, I would say that skin conditions in particular are, but I'd need a little more information than that. Pern, Hawaii, Mr. Hill, can you tell me what rating I can get for a sciatic nerve? It just depends on how severe it is. It goes from 0 to, I believe, 40, sometimes 60. But is there a tingling? Is there a numbness? Is there just a sharp pain? Is there an inability to actually use your ankle because the nerves shot altogether? Is there an ability to use your knee? Those are the kind of things you need to look at. You can actually get the irony I've found is that you can get a back rating at 20% and then have bilateral radiculopathy at 40% each. And so there's a way to get a lot higher there, yes. All right. File in 2016. I'm just looking at this, Mr. Thornley. If you have already filed, you could file what's called a Q claim, meaning that you're saying the claim should go back to when you're diagnosed, because that claim back for 2017, I guess, is closed or closing. So that's a little bit harder. If the claim is still open and went back to 2017, I would file an appeal saying that, hey, this should go back to the date of diagnosis. I would need to see more information, but that's my kind of shooting from the hip. Okay, Liam, thank you. Let's see. Oh, I got to wrap up. Sorry, guys. Mr. or Mrs. Compass, how long does it take for an IU claim? It just totally depends. IU claims are harder because the VA doesn't like to give out more money. Somebody in the VA could be here right now and say that what I'm saying is total lying. That's just what I've seen. You've got to prove you can't work. But if you're at 90% and you're in a wheelchair, you're 60 years old, that hopefully should be a pretty good claim. But it's one you got to fight. If they deny you and you're not working because your VA disabilities, you need to keep fighting, keep going up the ladder, maybe up to the BVA and DC, and go from there. Okay, let's see. You skipped my first question, Noah. Let's see if I can go back and find it. Let's see if I can do it. Noah here. Oh, no, it looks like we couldn't see it. Is there any way you could resend it? I'm sorry. Technology gets by me sometimes. We don't see your question. Yeah. Okay. David, and I guess I just have a couple more minutes here. My 10% is listed as a skeletal from 86. Now I'm plagued with pain from my knees, backs, hips, and ankles. I also have scars at 7 inches. What if not all secondary? What if not all is secondary to my knee? I mean, if you said skeletal I would claim all that. If you're saying that the skeletal rating is the rating for your knee, I would say, yeah, that's something you need to, how do I say that, appeal. Excuse me, you need to actually file the um, new claim and saying all those are related. I think that is a strong or good idea. Okay, David, I have an increase. I just filed with the DA or DAV. That's great. DAV is great, huge organization. They have lots of resources. That I strongly recommend them if you're filing a new claim, if you're filing the HLR appeal. The only time I'd consider, going to an advocate is if you need something more like an outside medical exam or somebody to go search for records in the National Archive or something, but that's great to hear. All right. Noah, I wanted to give you a second to repost that, just because I don't like messing people's questions. Let's go to Janice. Let's see. I'm having a problem getting my medical records. Been waiting since before COVID. Your medical records would be for I'm assuming you're going through the Veterans Health Administration, meaning you're treating at the VA. You should be able to go to the VA and get either a CD or a printout, or they can actually show you how to get all those through a portal. So that should be something you should be able to get quickly. It's not e-benefits. It's my vet health something .va, but those records should be something you should be able to get your hands on quickly. All right. Well, shoot. No, I didn't see. I'm sorry, I didn't see your problem here. Hopefully you come back next time we meet. All right, here we go. Last one. Oh, here's Noah. I have 10% for my lower back herniated disc, 20 for each knee, and 10 for each ankle. I'm wanting to file bilateral sciatica radiculopathy in both legs, sides. Do I need to file DBQ? You need to file a new claim, and you need to say these are secondary, obviously, to your service-connected claims. And then you just need to say, that this is caused by what I'm already service-connected for. They will send you to exam. If you have access to someone who will give you a DBQ, you need to keep that powder dry, okay? Because even if you send that in with your claim, they're still going to send you to their doctor. And what you want, I'm a little paranoid, but I assume that I'm not going to get what I want at the VA CMP. So what you want is the last word. If you get a negative CMP, you want your doctor to give the thorough DBQ or letter that you deserve, okay? So, you definitely file those. That's the problem with the back and the knees is they just cause all these secondary problems, and it's not that hard to put together, but the VA sometimes can miss it. Okay, but thanks, Noah. I'm glad we got to answer your question. I apologize for earlier. So guys, thank you so much, guys and girls, women. Thank you so much for coming on today. The Hill and Ponton Q&A here. I would strongly urge you to subscribe and then click the notification button. We are trying our best to get this at a regular time, so if folks have questions, they can always come here, but my schedule just kind of gets wacky sometimes, and I can't make it every time. So if you subscribe and hit the notification, then you'll know immediately when we're on, and then we can talk. I always appreciate your questions. Frankly, y'all get me thinking about other things like service connecting OSA, sleep apnea to tinnitus. I mean, there's all, I'm learning here too. Been doing this, as I said, for 15 years, and this is not a stagnant area of law, and there's just always interesting things. So again, thank you all so much, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and look forward to seeing you on this space next Wednesday.